How's it going, Dodger fans? After winning the big series against the Giants, why can us, the Dodger fans, be happy of the Dodgers moving on and playing against the Braves? We're facing the Braves again, dude. Isn't that exciting? We're moving on. Like, oh my God, like yesterday's game was so intense that I couldn't even sleep. It's just,
I know, dude.
I'm still kind of like, what just happened? And I think Vince Scully said it better than anybody. He said that this game was the most important out of all the history that the Dodgers and Giants have. This is the game that decided who is better. And aren't we lucky that the Dodgers won that game and that series, a matter of fact, dude?
There were a lot of questions this year about, who was the better team, the Dodgers or the Giants. And I think we pretty much, shut everyone up and just let them know that the Dodgers winning the last 8 years in a row, the division, leading the division, it wasn't a fluke,
No.
I think if anything, the fluke is the Giants doing so good this year. Gabe Kapler, you have to give credit to him. You have to give
the Giants credit. Yeah. That's one thing.
They came out and they played game really, really well. But
they did
that. Apollo Creed and Rocky said,
what do you say?
You may fight great, but I'm a great fighter. That's how I feel like the Dodgers are. Like telling the Giants, like, you guys play great, but we are great players. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of guys on the Giants that are kind of just they're having breakout years that you didn't really expect that from them.
I didn't expect the Giants to not even be there. Remember at the start of the season and before the start of the season, it was supposed to be the Dodgers and the Padres, and they were like, "This is going to be the biggest rivalry ever. It's going to take over." And what have we been saying all year long? The Padres are our little brothers. They're not even gonna, we don't worry about them. The Giants are our big time rivalries. Right. All time.
Always has been, ever since they were both in New York.
Did you see the stadium though? Did you see how tense and how quiet the stadium felt? It's just like you didn't even feel like screaming, or like after every play, we were just like, like
every single pitch, you were just on the edge of your seat, and it was. There were a lot of Giants fans. I mean, obviously, because it was in Oracle Park, but you could see a lot of Dodger blue in the stands too. And I'm really glad that the Dodger fans were able to, get their asses up there. And
hey, but the Dodger fans always travel, though, man. Dodger fans always travel.
And honestly, we have Dodger fans kind of everywhere. I live in the Philadelphia area, and I see people with Dodger shirts or Dodger hats. Once in a while, just walking around the mall or whatever. They're maybe it kind of trickled down from their Brooklyn days, maybe because we're so close to New York over here that maybe they had family that just kind of you grow into being a Dodger fan just from birth,
That's true.
And then there's also a lot of transplants like me that used to live in LA that end up moving kind of all over the United States.
Yeah. It's weird that we have to talk about it. The last call of the game was, questionable. And yeah, of course it was. As a Dodger fan, you got to understand that call should have not happened. It should have not been a strike. He didn't go around. He didn't, he didn't offer at it. So the rule states if you offer at it and you're completely if the umpire sees that the hitter is completely going after the pitch, then they'll call it a strike. But Flores did not go around. Flores did not look like
they call it breaking the plane. So
exactly,
it's pretty much like that halfway point between like not swinging at all and a full swing. So it's pretty much like perpendicular with your body or a home plate actually. So as long as the bat doesn't the angle of the bat doesn't cross home plate,
doesn't break that plane.
Yeah, but I mean it's umpire discretion. Just like balls and strikes are umpire discretion. So if
we didn't cheat.
If the game ended on a strike 3 called, even though if the pitch was outside the strike zone, no one would really be batting an eye, because it happens all the time. It happens every single day with almost every single umpire.
All San Francisco fans right now are pissed though. They're really pissed at that call. I understand it. We were pissed at that rough call. Remember back like 4 or 5 months ago.
Yeah.
When he really went around.
Oh yeah.
And that changed the game. And Giant fans are saying, how are you going to compare that to this playoff game? you know, that one game could have been tied and we would have played that extra playoff game. We would have beat you. We would have been home
we would have
field
won
advantage.
the division.
Exactly. So we're crying about that. You're crying about losing this game. It's better to win this game than to lose that game, you know? So
like
for me,
2017, 2018, when the Dodgers lost in the World Series, everyone always keeps on telling Dodger fans, get over it, get over it.
Exactly.
And it was like right after the World Series had just ended, people saying, get over it, get over the cheating scandal, get over this, get over that. Well, how about you guys get over the fact that your team just
still fresh though. It's too fresh. It's too fresh. Let them cry a little bit more. I actually like this. I like San Francisco fans crying right now. They're all crying all over freaking social media. Oh, the Dodgers cheated. No. When a team cheats is what the Astros and possibly the Red Sox. You know, it's a possible chance that we might face if the Dodgers pass to the World Series. We got to still face the Braves. You know, two matchups.
Either way, it's going to be a rematch.
And 2018. Exactly. So I'm just, you know, I'm ready for it. Scherzer, it's on the Dodgers. I know we want Kershaw to be there, but you know, like, dude, it's just, this series was so intense for me that I was just like, man, it's crazy. It was a different type of rivalry for me, man. It was a different level of playoff games because this has never happened in the history of baseball. The biggest rivalry in baseball history. I don't care what people say that, oh yeah, the Yankees in Boston. No, that's not compared to the Dodgers and Giants. This comes from New York and it traveled all the way to the West Coast, you know? So now it's Southern California type rivalry thing. So yeah, it's huge. And you can see it in TV. You can hear it in the stadiums. Like it was really quiet because how tense the fans were every pitch. It was so, oh my God. It's hard to explain, man. It's really hard to explain. I've never felt that intensity.
It's easy to explain to real baseball fans because most real baseball fans have been there before. They've been in our position where there's, you know, a game on the line and we really need either a pitching or a hitting to come through. And we did, man. We did. It was,
even though they didn't score those two games, it was,
no, we got shut out twice. And one of them was from Logan Webb, you know, and Logan Webb, both games, he pitched great, dude.
He did.
Game 1 and game 5, he pitched great. All throughout the regular season, he pitched great. And, you know, we scored that one run off of him and we capitalized, you know, Cody Bellinger coming up with that clutch hit. Like he showed up at the right place at the right time, man. We needed his bat to start getting hot. And I don't know if you remember watching his first at bat, but he actually had like close to a 10 pitch at bat in his first.
Oh, you're talking about the at bat before the game winning.
Yeah. Second at bat.
Yeah. He like, and I saw it too. Like I was talking about it. I was saying how he wasn't turning his head. He struck out because he turned his head, but all that at bat, he was battling. He was just going after. That's what great hitters do. Yep. And yeah, like he didn't have a good season. Everybody's saying it. He sucked all season, but this season this at bat erased completely all the season with this base hit. So, dude, he was on it. I think it was either Bellinger or Lux that needed to come through. And yeah, after the 7th inning, you know it's going to be Bellinger. And it was after the 7th inning.
Without the power stroke of Muncy being in the lineup, we needed someone to kind of take up that mantle, you know.
Yeah,
and it's not like it was a home run; it wasn't even a double. It was just a base hit just through the gap in the infield.
It was hit hard though. It was hit really hard.
It was. If it was hitting any softer, they probably would have got it and threw him out.
Yeah,
maybe not with his speed. It probably would have been a pretty close play, but because he hit the ball so hard, it found a hole, and Mookie Betts ended up scoring on that. So
I think it was Turner.
Yeah, Justin.
It was Turner. No, Mookie was Corey Seager double.
Oh, the double.
Yeah. So I mean, I just felt like there wasn't going to go extra innings. Why would it go extra innings? I think the two teams. I just didn't want the Giants to win. I just didn't feel like, oh my God, if the Giants win and leave us out in the field, that's gonna suck, and it's gonna like burn for years. Now we're the ones that are gonna like be on top of the Giants fans and be like, remember when we beat you in the playoffs? The only playoff game that we played, yeah, that's us. The Dodgers won that game. So You know, what else can I say? We're rivals and everything, but you gotta give them some props too, because they come out of nowhere. Like we said at the beginning of the show, it was supposed to be the Padres, our little brothers, and it didn't happen. It happened the way it happened the way it needed to be. Giants and Dodgers rivalry, like it's always going to be the biggest thing in baseball history. I mean, doesn't matter if the Padres have a good team coming or whatever, or the Rockies or the Diamondbacks. It's always going to be the Giants, and it's always going to be the Giants because, like I said, it comes from New York, the New York days, you know, from the 1800s, from all the way back then to now. So we're in 2021, and dude, it didn't disappoint. It didn't, even if the Dodgers would have lost, yeah, we would have been bummed out and everything, but it just baseball at its greatest, I think. Every fan was just excited to see that. I think everybody wanted the Dodgers to lose because we've been there every year.
Everyone always wants the Dodgers to lose.
Yeah. So I mean, it is what it is. You know, they're facing the Braves now. It's a new test. It doesn't matter what happened during the season. I know the Dodgers won that series against the Braves, but the Braves are playing good baseball. And guess who's on that team? Jock Peterson, a Dodger. He's actually playing really good with the Braves. He's hitting he hit 2 home runs for the Braves to win.
He's really series. Just used as a pinch hitter.
But that's helping them, man.
Yeah, those are the clutch hits that he used to hit for us. And you kind of got on the other side in Boston. You have Kike Hernandez that's kind of doing the same thing, and Alex Verdugo. You know, all 3 of those ex-Dodgers are playing really well in postseason.
They are right now. And you know what? It's crazy. I picked the Astros to face the Dodgers in the playoffs, and then Tony Snap. Mm-hmm. He picked the Red Sox and Dodgers. So we'll see who wins on that one. I know you had the White Sox, right?
I did. Yeah. I really thought that the White Sox pitching was going to come through, but the Astros were able just to get past Rodon in game 5. And
I mean, come on, dude. Short. They're over there accusing the Astros of cheating again. So like, that's not, you don't think that's going to light up?
One guy is.
Yeah, but that's going to light up some fire. He's not even
like a real like White Sox. He came from the Cubs. He was only on the White Sox for like a month.
Well, whatever it is, it sparked some fire under the Astros, and they went ahead and won that series. So
hey, so we got some comments. We got Osballs that's watching the video. What's up, Osballs? He's saying we need that same energy and momentum, and I completely agree with that. I want to say that every Dodger fan agrees with that we need to go into this next series. Don't take the Braves lightly.
Of course not.
Are the Braves a better team than the Giants, or are the Giants a better team than the Braves? I think, I mean, personally, the Giants were better than the Braves this season.
Yeah, that's why they won 107.
Exactly.
They won 107 games.
You still can't take the Braves lightly because they have a lot of really good contact hitters that are playing good baseball right now. Austin
They're
Riley,
heating up.
Freddie Freeman, like you mentioned, Jock Peterson,
Albies.
Ozzy Albies, Soler, right?
Soler, oh my God, that's gonna be an intense
I think
play. Any playoff game.
I think Soler is out though.
Is he? No, he played the last game.
Did he?
He's still there.
Maybe I'm tripping. I thought he went on the COVID list.
Who's starting tomorrow? Is it Fried?
I don't know if they've announced yet. I know Scherzer has been announced as a starter.
Oh, for real? So he finished the 9th. He threw 11 or 13 pitches.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about it,
that's like warm-ups.
I've been talking to people at work, you know, and they're saying, how is Scherzer going to pitch game 1 if he just pitched the 9th inning in game 5? And I'm like, well, pitchers do bullpen sessions and side sessions all the time. So it's not like it was like anything like extra crazy out of his routine. He didn't go 4 innings, 5 innings. He pitched 1 inning and it was less than 20 pitches. So you figure it was a bullpen session for him, an extreme, you know, high energy bullpen session, but you know, regardless, he didn't throw that many pitches. So I think that with having today off, he'll be well rested enough where he can come into the game tomorrow and go 6 or 7.
Or what do you think that Roberts would do? Like he surprised us with the bullpen starting the game. He had an opener in Knable, and then he brought in Bruce Gratterall to pitch the second. So it might, you know, at first, when I first read it, I was like, why is he doing that? But then I started thinking about it more and more, and I'm like, okay, he's trying to mess with the Giants lineup. And you know what? It messes with you. Like a Gabe Kapler was kind of mad at the fact that he went and announced the starter super late, and they had to go ahead and put in their lineups, right? So that's a great strategy from Robert. Sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't, and sometimes Dodger fans are just going to be mad at whatever he does. I think we're getting used to the Roberts way, because remember what, 5-6 years ago, it was more of Roberts doing, what is he doing? Why is he doing this? Now it's more like, okay, let's try to understand the thought process behind it. It made sense after I thought about it. I didn't really think about it, because I remember I sent a text to you guys and said, here comes Robert making that stupid decision again. And then I thought about it like, wait, that makes sense. You know, it's going to make a lot of sense once the Giants put their lineup together, and then they bring Urias, and he has to face all those lefties.
The thing is, it's hard being a manager at any position, you know. And in professional sports, man, if you make a wrong decision, you look like an idiot. If you make the right decision, you look like a genius, you know. So it's sometimes risks pay off, and yesterday it did. It paid off really well, because we ended up getting past our division rivals, proving that we were the better team, and moving on to the next series. So Osballs also says small ball. Now, I know, you know, Chris Taylor laying down the bunt, trying to get that squeeze play in to score, you know, the runner that was on third base. I think that
that wasn't a squeeze play. That was a safety.
Squeeze.
Yeah, squeeze. Oh my God, dude, they need to learn how to bunt.
See, and that's the thing. Osbald's saying small ball. Like if these guys knew how to play small ball, if they've been playing small ball, I think that would work. But 106 wins for the whole season without playing small ball, just doing the things that we do, being consistent all year long. Why change it up now? So I don't think that changing our tactics now should really play any part of our games going forward.
Well, they did change it a little bit, though. You got to think about it.
Just
the pitching wise.
But I mean, whether you have the bullpen start first, I mean, Urias has been in the bullpen before. He came out of the bullpen and got the final out of the World Series in 2020. So he's been in the bullpen before. He's been in that situations. But because our batters haven't played a lot of small ball, when's the last time you saw a Dodgers batter bunt that wasn't a pitcher?
Dang, I can't remember. I think it was
exactly because we don't
1995 probably. Dude, they haven't played small ball
anymore.
Yeah,
we don't do that anymore. Most teams don't do that anymore.
You know what? Since D. Gordon, actually. Exactly. And that was probably 2011, 2012, something like that. It's been a long time. There's been probably some that we've been missing, because I know, like Trey Turner, he's probably done it. You know, who else? I'm trying to think of someone else. Mookie Betts, someone that's slumping, like except Bellinger.
Actually, you know what? I think Bellinger did do a bunt towards the third base side, because the shift, because the shift was on him crazy. They had
still hit a foul ball
on the right side of the field. No, he ended up being safe at first.
Okay.
But you know, that was one time during the regular season, and of course you do that with the player that's slumping, because you don't trust his bat to swing and hit the ball. So next best thing, you get at least lay a bunt down and hopefully be safe. If not, you at least bunt the runner over from first to second.
Yeah, dude, it was intense. From the Cardinal series, because we haven't got on the podcast. The Cardinal series, like, it was 1-1. It was just crazy. Oh man, that game was crazy, because the Cardinals had went into the playoffs winning 17 in a row, and then you have the Dodgers that were playing amazing baseball too. So that's just you know, the Dodgers always have troubles against the Cardinals, and then they go ahead and play the Giants, and another rivalry where it was like huge, intense. Now we're having this rivalry with the Braves, which is going to be the fourth time in, I believe, 5 years that they're going to face off in the NLCS, right? So I correct me if I'm wrong. Like, I think this is becoming a rivalry in the playoffs, to where the Braves want to beat the Dodgers. Last year, the Braves were up 3-1, and the Dodgers came back on them. So
smoked them.
Yeah, it's like I mean, I remember I wasn't giving up when they were down 3-1. I remember a lot of people were like, we're done, we're done. Same with this series with the Giants. We were down 2-1. We came back and won two in a row against the Giants in Oracle Park in San Francisco and in that freaking environment where it's really bad. So now they're going to Atlanta, 1 day rest. I'm pretty sure they're hungover from drinking that much yesterday, which I really thought game one from with the Giants was they were hungover from winning the Cardinals series, So not series game, I guess, the wild card game. So I don't know what's going to happen in Atlanta. I got a feeling that they might change the pitcher. I don't think Scherzer should pitch that game one. I think they should do a opener and then, use Gonsolin, use Price, like to eat up those innings. Let those pitchers rest. It's a longer series. It's not a 5-game series. It's a 7-game series now. You have more chance of resting your players and getting them ready. Like, that's my feeling. I'm not Dave Roberts. Dave Roberts have another freaking thought process, which is, not normal to Dodger fans. And it's becoming that norm where he's making these calls and we're accepting them sometimes. And it's more people accepting his calls than not. So yeah. I remember the first 2 years, it was like, what the hell are you doing? Now it's like, what are you doing? I'm like, okay, let me take a step back and let me understand what the thought process that he has going on into the game. Yeah. And you said it, being a manager in anywhere is really hard. So, we'll see what happens.
If you really think about it, though, if Scherzer does start tomorrow, he's not really going to be on a short rest. You
don't think so?
Tomorrow would be like in a normal season would be his day to start.
Okay.
And, in between starts, these starting pitchers always do bullpen sessions, or they do long toss, stretching out and getting ready for their next start to stay loose. Yeah. And that's kind of how I'm looking at this, this save that we got from Max Scherzer, his first career save, that because he actually did a bullpen session earlier in the day, he said, but he cut it short because he was planning on going out onto the mound later on. He actually said that he thought that he was going to follow Urias to go in before Treinen and before Jansen. But apparently Dave Roberts just had other plans in mind, and he decided to pull Urias a little bit earlier than expected. He wasn't as efficient as Urias usually is. So
no, he was efficient. He was efficient.
He only went
that
4
home
innings.
Run.
They were expecting him to go at least 5. So if he would have went 5, then
he could have gone 5 innings. It's just Dave Roberts cut the leash and he thought, you know what? I don't want the lineup to know what he's throwing, so let's switch it up and bring Treinen in. I think that's what Roberts' plan was, to use him for 3-4 innings. He wasn't trying to use him for 5.
Well, plus you had the pitcher spot coming up in the batting lineup too.
Yeah, so he knew he was going to use Scherzer, and he knew he was going to use Treinen. He knew he was going to use Jansen. So he had 3 innings in those 3 pitchers. So all he needed from Urias was probably 3-4 innings. That's all he needed from him. And he came and he executed that one bad pitch that should have been inside on rough, stayed outside. It stayed in the middle of the plate. And that's why he hit it out. Dude, Oswald is saying that we should have been, he was standing all game. Dude, that's how I was. I was standing up all series. Like I couldn't sit down. That's how intense it was.
Yeah. Game 5, I was pretty much like this with my eyes halfway open.
No way. Get out of here, man. You're not really a Dodger fan.
when you're only on 2 hours sleep and the game is about to be over, it's hard to keep your eyes open, man. When we were on offense, when Cody Bellinger hit that base hit, I was wide awake because that's when I started feeling like a little clammy, my hands getting sweaty. And
what about when Justin Turner made that error at third?
Oh man, dude. Turner,
were you asleep then or what?
What are you doing to me, JT? No, man. That got me a little worried, dude. And I think it was 2 base runners that were allowed in the 9th, right?
No, it was just one. It was
just
Brian,
the one, just on that error.
Yeah, Brian was on first. It when he made that error, I'm like, no, here we go again. We're gonna give it to the Giants again. We can't never win that one game to get on top of the freaking Giants.
He had it. It just popped out.
he got crossed up. If you see it again, it's like he was all his weight was on his right foot, and his left hand coming, which is a glove hand, coming towards that way. You kind of lose a little bit of strength, so it probably popped out because he couldn't close the glove right on time. Yeah. So I understand what he was trying to do, because that play should have been more of a backhand. So it would have been more of like a backhand and boom, throw him out. But he tried to move over there. It feels like he kind of, his right foot got kind of stuck and he couldn't open up more so he can go ahead and get in the middle of it. So yeah, either way, the Dodgers won. It was a time that little mishap made it really bad for Dodger fans. And we were like, here we go again. You know, we're giving the game away to the Giants. I'm wearing that shirt, Beat the Giants. You know, like this shirt's from 2010, 2011. I still have it, dude. So
hey, I don't know if you saw, did you see the, I think it was either the Dodgers Instagram or the MLB on Fox Instagram page that posted it, but it was a Snoop Dogg narration about you know, the Giants and the Dodgers series that they just played, and he was pretty much saying that every time that we go and we face the Diamondbacks in Arizona, what does the crowd chant?
Beat LA.
Beat LA. Every time we go to San Francisco, what does the crowd chant?
Beat LA.
Every time we go to San Diego, every time we go to Colorado, it's like everywhere in our division, they always say beat LA. But what do Dodger fans say at our home ballpark?
Whatever team
let's
sucks,
go Dodgers. Let's go.
Yeah,
Dodgers.
no, we say, like, we can say Giants suck too, man, you know.
Yeah, but that's not pretty typical, you know.
No.
It's always like whenever you hear like the organ coming on at Dodger Stadium, or like the little, like, you know, let's go Dodgers. That's usually what you hear at Dodger Stadium.
Yeah.
So what he was saying is, when we go to Oracle Park or wherever it is, the Dodger fans just kind of flip the script on them, and instead of saying beat LA like they are, we can say repeat LA.
Yeah. And that's what they were trying to do. They were trying to hashtag it and do all that. I think it hasn't worked. Maybe it's going to start now. It hasn't caught on. But it's not baseball's not the only sport that feels that, man. It's basketball too.
Yeah.
And then you see it, you hear it in football. And you know how we have so many people that are have so many different variety
LA
of teams
haters
out here.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Do you join the chant if you're from LA? Like, I want to hear you guys say, like, yes, I do. If you do, oh my God, you suck. Like, get out of here with that. Like, I'm serious. Like, why would you say beat LA if you're from LA? I mean, doesn't matter if you're a fan of whoever you are and it's not an LA team, would you join that chant? I wouldn't. Personally, I wouldn't. But everybody to his own, you know, they can do whatever they want. I know if there was a Lakers playing and you're a Boston Celtics and you're from LA, are you going to join that chant? Beat LA? Like, I don't know. Right? Even if you're a Dodger fan and you're from Anaheim, or what is it? Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, you know, right? Are you going to join that chant and say beat LA? Like, it kind of makes no sense, right? You're from LA. Like, why would you say it? Well, we have a lot of fans like that right now. So, yeah, and it's going to happen in Atlanta. We're going to have to hear the Tomahawks going again. And it's like, man, that gets annoying after a while. And it gets it gets intense once they start going, and all the fans are like, oh, you know, like, oh man, it's going to be intense. Another year, I guess, because we haven't had fans in the stands, the 2020 season, it's becoming more of a like, damn, this is going to be, it was intense last year, but I feel like it's more intense now because the fans are out there and they're booing the players, and the players are feeding off of their energies. Right. So, yeah, it's going to be crazy, man. It's going to be crazy. I think the Dodgers got it. I think they're going to beat the Braves. They beat them the last 3 or 4 times that they faced in the playoffs. It's just, they are kind of tired. They've been playing hard baseball from the get-go against the Cardinals and now the Giants, and then they're going to go play against the Braves, which is going to be a little bit more a longer series, but it's still going to be a hard-fought baseball game because the Braves are playing good baseball, and of course they want to go into the World Series. They haven't been to the World Series since, I believe, in the 2000s or 2001, I believe. I forget what year it was. They haven't won it since 1995. And of course they want to win it. And then you have the other side with the Red Sox and Astros. That's going to be a crazy series too. You have McCullers out, man. He had what is it?
I
Is it
texted you
elbow
guys
or
about
shoulder?
that. Was that today that I texted you guys?
Yeah. He told us that he was going to be out. I think that's Tommy John, dude. Didn't he have Tommy John already, or was it a shoulder surgery?
I know he's had problems with his elbow. I don't know if he's already had Tommy John surgery. But
well, that's a big picture for the Astros.
Mccullers, that's a guy that's kind of been like our version of Kershaw, because he just keeps on getting hurt every single year. And you never know with that guy. He's very inconsistent. Now, if you've watched him pitch, Lance McCullers is fucking amazing, dude. I'm pretty sure the break on his pitches is just it moves so much. Like there's no way that you can hit that, you know, unless he throws a fastball at you. But his sinkers, man, like his ball moves so much. So the Astros being without that guy, he's been their ace this season. You know, he hasn't lived up to what he used to be. Verlander's gone. So really they have just their 1-2-3 punch is Lance McCullers, Framber Valdez, and Luis Garcia. Now, Luis Garcia and Framber Valdez, they're really young. They haven't had that like postseason baseball like, you know, the rest of the organization has. So without McCullers being there to lead their rotation, I really don't think that they got it, man. I told.
Well, that's the pitching, earlier, but the hitting, man. You got Carlos Correa.
Looking at the Astros lineup, they have one guy on the team that is kind of like a nobody. I don't even remember his name. He's playing center field tonight.
Okay, so there's that nobody.
Well, I mean, you got to fill it somewhere, right?
Yeah.
But dude, look, Kyle Tucker, Jose Altuve, Carlos Correa, Yuli Gurriel, Alex Bregman. What the hell, man? Like that lineup.
Dude, I forgot about Alex Bregman. Damn, he's there, huh? Yeah, you're right. And that's going to be a tough series too, but it is a Dodger pod, and we do hate the Astros. We hate the Giants. You know, I would love for the Dodgers to win the World Series only because we beat the Giants in this series, so we can have that trophy say they beat the Giants 3-2.
Well, also because there's a lot of questions about last year, right? Are the Dodgers really legit? Last year's 2020 championship really didn't count because it was such a shortened season. Now it's like we need to shut those people up. You know, we as Dodger fans, we know that last year did count. 16 teams made it to the playoffs and only one was there at the end. It's not like it is this year where you have 8 teams and, you know, they're battling to see who's the best. We were the best of 16, not just, you know, and then this year, what team goes to the World Series and then the next season goes out and wins 106 games? That's never happened before. Exactly. The Dodgers. They're the only ones that have ever done that before. Usually
Los Dodgers.
After a World Series win, the team goes into a slump. They had the longest season out of, you know, all 30 teams, and they played really hard all season long, and then they come back and they're still tired. They're sluggish. There
you go. You just said it. They get tired. Look at the Rays. They went to the World Series last year and they got eliminated by the Red Sox. So was it fatigue? I don't know. I kind of want to get into that series, to be honest, because you saw that the Red Sox went in playing good baseball because they won the wild card, right, against the Yankees. And then the Rays, you saw the Rays were eating popcorn, relaxing, chillaxing, dancing, and, you know, doing all these, and like they were so relaxed in that series that the Red Sox saw that and they were like, what the hell? Like, we're not easy. We're not pushovers. We're going to come and play. And it showed. The Red Sox won the series, and the Rays, you know, like they thought they had it in the bag and they didn't. They didn't show up like we thought they were. To be honest, like there were so many players on that team that I don't even know their names, like from last year to this year.
Especially the pitching.
The pitching was totally different.
It's all different. Yeah. Shane McClanahan and Shane Baz. No, they're really good pitchers.
They're good pitchers. Yeah.
They're 22 years old. And you can't expect that much from a 22-year-old that doesn't necessarily have that potential to be an ace. You know, I could see Shane McClanahan as the ace of the Rays in a few years from now, but that's a big possibility that, you know, that they don't have the pedigree like someone like a Walker Buehler did. You know, Walker Buehler, you could see he went to Vanderbilt. You know, you don't go.
Nothing but stars come out of Vanderbilt.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Dansby Swanson came from Vanderbilt, and he got drafted number 1 overall. You know that
he hasn't hit man strength. Remember you said man strength?
Hey, next year, man, 2022 is going to be Dansby Swanson's year.
Not this year though. Not this year.
No, not this. I mean, he did okay this year. he got a little bit of his man strength this year. He hit more home runs this season than he ever has in the past.
Well, let's hope he goes 0 for whatever, because he's not going to do it against the Dodgers.
Fantasy baseball, Dansby Swanson. I'm targeting him as my shortstop.
Okay, well then you have your pick. I'll go ahead and won't pick him up. I don't think he's going to do all that great. I hope not. I hope he goes 0
He's
for
going to
whatever.
be a sneaky pick, man, because that guy doesn't go until later on. He's more like a 7th, 8th round pick compared to all these other shortstops that are going, 3rd, 4th round. So I could pass up those shortstops, those elite shortstops. I wonder where Francisco Lindor is going to.
We'll talk about that.
You know what? That's a different different subject. So.
Hey, so how many games? I know you're going to pick Dodgers. How many games is it going to go into the series so the Dodgers can win?
I'm hoping it goes at least 6 because I'm going to be in Atlanta on that Saturday. So I'm trying to go to the game on that Saturday.
I want them to celebrate here in LA, dude. Yeah, game 5.
I mean, it's hard because it's a 7-game series and 2 really good teams playing against each other. I don't see a sweep. I don't see the Dodgers just going forward.
I don't see a sweep either. I don't see a sweep. Yeah.
Do you really see the Braves only winning 1 game?
I do.
Really?
And I do see that game wherever Scherzer doesn't pitch, which is if he doesn't pitch game 1, I think that bullpen game, the Braves are taking it. Now, if Scherzer comes in the game 1 and he doesn't have his stuff, like that's the only game I feel like it's not going to look good for the Dodgers, because they're coming. They flew from San Francisco all the way to Atlanta, dude, on the day off. So, and pretty much all these players are already hung over from last night's celebration. So you're flying to Atlanta. You're getting there. I'm pretty sure they're probably getting there right now. You're going to sleep. You got to wake up early to go to practice. You got to get all these things going. It's a different time zone. So, jet lag is it's a real thing. So I think it's game 1. If they win, then good. If they don't, it's a long series. And I think this is the only game I think the Braves take. From there, I think the Dodgers will get it. Game 5. You say game 6, I say game 5. And let's go American League. I know it's a Dodger pod, but let's go ahead and choose the American League. Who do you have?
I'm going to say the Red Sox, man. I think losing Mccullers is the biggest hit towards the Astros. Other than that, they really have no consistent pitching. Framber Valdez, Luis Garcia, and Zach Greinke. And, Zach Greinke, I believe his ERA for the season was over 4. He's been underperforming a lot this season.
Yeah.
His value is just kind of, it's diminishing the older he gets. I want to see he's 37 years old. So 37 years old, his fastball's, high 80 now. It used to be like 92, 93. Now it's like 88, maybe 89 sometimes. McCullers was throwing 96 with a lot of movement on his pitches. Framber Valdez and Luis Garcia had great seasons this year, but towards the end of the season, they weren't pitching so great. And I think the main reason for that is because of the shortened season last year. They're not used to pitching so much in one season. So both of these guys being young and probably having less than 100 innings on their belt from last year, coming into this year and trying to pitch 200 innings, including the postseason, I don't really think that they're going to be stretched out enough, or their body's not going to be able to handle that type of workload going into the championship series against Boston.
Well, I'm picking the Astros because the Astros have better hitting, and at Boston, you're talking about Boston, like they have a big time ace pitcher there. They don't have anybody. I don't think nobody in the Red Sox can pitch with the Astros. I know McCullers is a big piece for the Astros, but the Astros do have hitting. And I know you're saying that the Red Sox are hot. Yeah, they're hot. They're going into this series really hot, and they're showing. I think they're up right now, right? They're 3-1. So it maybe it's something where the Red Sox are gonna win that series. But I'm still picking the Astros because the Astros are the Astros, man. The freaking Astros. This is the 5th consecutive year that they're going to the ALCS, dude.
Yeah.
And, you have these players that are pissed off at the fans at the fact that they cheated in 2017. And now they're trying to prove something. They're trying to get to the World Series. And if it's against the Dodgers, you think they're not going to want to play their hardest against the Dodgers or the Braves? Doesn't matter who it is. I think they're trying to prove something. And I'm not saying I'm going for the Astros. It's just, I'm just seeing something totally different. When we picked against, what was it? The Astros against the White Sox. I picked the Astros because I felt like the Astros were playing a lot more. They were playing more meaningful games at the end of the season than the White Sox. The White Sox had won the division in the middle of the season already, so they weren't playing that so much meaningful games as the Astros.
Yeah.
So
and the AL Central is also a weak division.
A weak division, yeah. So you had the Mariners like creeping up on these guys. You had the A's creeping up on these guys. I know they weren't like, they don't have a big time team, but they were battling these guys. And then the Astros were playing, like I said, they were playing more for themselves, to prove them to themselves, and not to like, sound like I'm an Astro fan, but I think they're a good team. They're a good team even without McCullers. But we'll see. I'm picking the Astros. I know Tony had picked the Red Sox as well. So 2-1, and we'll see what happens. Either way, we want the Dodgers to get to the World Series, and it's going to be a rematch. 2017, 2018. What do you want? 2018 or 2017? You want 2018? Yeah, 2017. There you go. You should have picked
That's what I want. That's what I want. Doesn't necessarily mean what I think is going to happen.
That's going to happen.
I just think Chris Sale, Nathan Eovaldi, they've been in this situation before. Yeah. They've been in postseason baseball. They have that experience. Then you look at the lineup, like you're talking about the Astros lineup, which is definitely better than the Red Sox lineup.
Of course.
But JD Martinez batting over 460 in the postseason so far. Kike Hernandez with so many clutch hits and home runs. Alex Verdugo just putting the bat on the ball pretty much every single at bat. Like, this guy hasn't been striking out. And, the newcomers like Bobby Dahlbeck, that kind of he started to shine towards the end of the season, towards the end of the regular season, that became their starting first baseman every day. The Red Sox, like you can't discount what they have,
of course not,
with the bats.
No.
Now, the Astros lineup is definitely better than than Boston's lineup, but I think Boston's pitching can actually, at least hold the Astros to 3 runs a game, 4 runs a game. So Boston just needs to score more than that. And against the Astros pitching, which they don't really have a great bullpen and they don't have great starting pitching right now, I think it's highly possible. I think it's going to be a battle either way. It'll probably go 7.
Yeah. 7. Damn, 7. All right. I think it's going to go, you know what? I think I'm going to go 7 too, man, in that series. And only because there's no McCullers.
Exactly.
If there was McCullers,
I'd be like, no, the Astros are probably going to
5 or 6. But well, I mean, we'll see. We'll wait and see. Once we get into that series, and hopefully it is the Dodgers, we can talk about it here on the Dodger Pod. Ozboss, thanks for being on here and commenting. I know it's a good way to vent as a Dodger fan, because we did go through a stressful series against the Giants, and we're going to the NLCS against the Braves, and it's going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting, and baseball is always exciting. I think it's the sport that a lot of people don't treasure, a lot of people don't like to see, because there's not a lot of contact. But you got to understand, it's the only sport that it's not timed. You got to go and get the outs. You got to go and face hitters. You got to go and look for outs. So, if you're not into baseball, I think it's time to start paying attention, because it's more of a mental game than a physical game. And if you pay attention to those things and you understand
it's more of a skilled game than it is athleticism game. Football and basketball, if you're a really good athlete, you're probably going to be really good at both sports. But just because you're a good athlete doesn't mean that you're going to be good at baseball. You can't just put a bat in your hands and try to hit a ball coming at you 95 miles an hour. It's just not going to happen. I can guarantee that, 90% of the world can't hit a 95 mile an hour fastball. It's already been proven to be the hardest thing to do in all of sports.
Yeah. All right. Well, last what are you going to say? Your last words, man, before tomorrow when they start the series?
I really think that the key to this series is going to be the Dodgers taking at least one of the first 2 games in Atlanta, coming back home and taking 3 more from winning all 3 games at home in LA. I think that's going to be the key to their success for this particular series. Charlie Morton, great pitcher. He has the Uncle Charlie, that great curveball. Ian Anderson, a younger pitcher that he's had moments of greatness this season, but he's still really young. I don't think that he's ready for postseason baseball yet, but he's serviceable for now for the Braves. And Max Fried. Max Fried has been very inconsistent also. He's pitched great, but he's also pitched horrible. So I think the key to the game for the Dodgers is to capitalize on those mistakes that those younger pitchers are going to make. Charlie Morton is probably going to be their most successful pitcher in their starting rotation for this series coming up. But if we can get to Ian Anderson early, if we can get to Max Fried early, I think that the Dodgers could easily get it within 5 games.
Cool. Well, I got something different to say. I think the key for the Dodgers is going to be Bellinger. If he goes ahead and stays in the game and starts battling pitches like he did against the Giants, doesn't necessarily mean that he needs to go ahead and hit a bomb every time, go ahead, get a hit or no strike out. He took a 10 pitch at bat. That helps. That helps in the long run. Muncy does that. We're missing Muncy. Remember, we need someone that takes the place from Muncy. And I think Bellinger can do that. I think Bellinger can battle out some pitches and make these pitchers throw to him. So by him doing that, I think the other players are going to get a better pitching approach, and it's going to be a easy series for them. So I think Bellinger's key. Lux is my next other guy that I feel like he needs to be in that lineup, because he's been hot at the end of the season. He was one of the hottest Dodgers out there, and he did not play those 2 first games against the Giants. Remember, he played in game 3, actually game 4 and game 5, because Robert said, I need to play my hot hand, and he put Lux out there, and he came through. So he took a lot of pitches as well. So I think those 2 guys are going to be key for the Dodgers. And if they do not perform, I don't think the Dodgers are going to win. But we do have a good bullpen, and we do have a good starters. And I think right now they're on it. And I think the Dodgers are going to come on top. But
and I think
that's my 2 guys.
I think that's what's really saving the Dodgers right now is the bullpen that we have. Because the starting pitching for the Dodgers is great. Our rotation is, I think it's second to none. We have the best starting rotation in baseball, but we've seen where Scherzer got rocked in Colorado, and then he came back home, and then he got rocked at home, and he only went 4 or 5 innings in both games. We've seen the same thing from Buehler. We've seen the same thing from Urias. So with those guys, even if they're not able to go 5 complete innings or longer, we know that we have Joe Kelly, Brusdar Graterol, Corey Knebel, Alex Vesia, Bickford. We have so many arms in our bullpen that are so much better than the other bullpens in all of MLB. So,
of course,
I think that the pitching is going to be the key to our success.
We'll be all right. We'll be all right. We'll win. What's up, Javi? He's out there. Well, we'll be all right. Hey, we just hit that time limit. We reached the end of the show on this Dodger pod today. I know we haven't been on, like we said, we're going to be on every week, every other week and stuff like that. It's just been kind of hectic. We've been watching baseball games, and it's kind of hard to get away from the TV, especially when they're playing rivals, right? Like the Giants. Yeah. Javi, you're a Giants fan, I think. Sorry for your loss, dude. Nah, he's a Dodger fan. If there's nothing else to say, dude, I mean, I'm Carlos Baseball. This is Will Power. This is Dodger Pod. See you guys.
See you guys.